I'm just going to give Dr. Costin a brief introduction. Not that he can't introduce himself, but I figured that would be a little bit more formal. Dr. Costin joined us in June of 2018, so he's almost been here 2 years now. Wonderful. We love having him. We're so thankful. Dr. Costin joined us from the U.S. Air Force. He was previously the chief of chaplains and served in the Air Force for 32 years. He has a great track record in leadership positions, but he's also had many degrees under his belt. He has a total of 8, 5 master's degrees and 2 doctoral degrees. So he's got a lot of information that he can share. But we are super thankful to have him. And Dr. Costin, I'm just going to go ahead and pass it on to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Brittany. I appreciate you and what you're doing. As all of you know, these are unique times for all of us, and I've been really fascinated by how this pandemic truly is global. I think the fact is none of us could ever have imagined, even 3 weeks ago, where we would be today. But here we are. And so we're so grateful that you, despite having to do your own schoolwork, many of you high school students from home and making that happen, how a different experience that is for you. And so we're thankful that you're joining us today. I just want to give a few minutes to chat about Charleston Southern, and then after I've done that for a bit, Brittany will kind of host questions, and there are others on the line too. And so if there's a question that I can't answer myself, we'll either have another person answer it, or we'll get back to you. And so Brittany can take care of all that. Listen, as you're thinking about where you're going to attend college, whether you're a transfer student or a graduate student or a high school student thinking about where you're going to go to college, just know this, that Charleston Southern is a phenomenal place to be. When my wife Vicki and I decided that it was time to retire from the Air Force, we were looking for a place that would have a mission and people who were very similar. We loved the Air Force. We enjoyed what I did as an Air Force chaplain, and we enjoyed it because we got to invest ourselves together in young men and women and them to become the men and women that God had designed for them to be. And so as we looked around the landscape, we decided that Charleston Southern was that place. And I'll promise you this, we have not been disappointed. In fact, what we found is exactly what we prayed to find, and that is a group of professionals here who are dedicated. I would use the word called to serve people just like you, so that you can become the kind of people that God has designed for you to be. I've also been very pleasantly surprised. I guess surprised is not the right word. I've been pleasantly thrilled that the men and women that I work with really are passionate about what they do. They're passionate because they know that, as someone has said, there's only one life that will soon be passed, and only what's done for Christ will last. And so they come to work every day. They get out of bed. They come to the campus when we're allowed to come to the campus. And even now when we're not allowed to come to the campus, they get up every day and say, how today can I serve a student? Charleston Southern is unique for many reasons. And I was really drawn to our mission statement, which is we produce academic excellence in a Christian environment. It means that those two things are both true. On the one hand, we are a place where academic excellence is what we do. We do so by keeping the standards high. We do so in a way that with small class sizes that allows professors to get to know students really in one-on-one ways. When we look at the research and we look at what makes a college experience valuable and meaningful and long-lasting, it is the extent to which a college student, university student, can have a personal relationship with the professor. And if, at a lot of large schools, the professor may be the one who comes into class, but most of the grading, most of the outside the classroom activities, most of that happens by a teaching assistant or a graduate assistant. That's not the case at Charleston Southern. Our class sizes are relatively small, and there's plenty of opportunities for you to get to know a professor. You can do research with a professor as you increase in your major. As you're here longer, you can have a community life on campus that is is focused on small groups. It's focused on building community. And so what we find is that we are made to be in community. And I think a lot of us now, when we're having to work remotely, are rediscovering the importance of the campus community here. I so appreciate the fact that our students are also called here. Our students are called not just to become a scholar, which they get to do here, but they're also called to be a servant. And so when we think about, again, our mission statement is producing academic excellence in a Christian environment, we focus not just on the academic excellence, we also focus on the Christian environment aspect. And you will get that here. The truth is that, as I've said in other places, we're a Christian university, but not a university just for Christians, which means that if for some reason that you have not yet come to a place where you are a person of faith, you are still welcome here. In fact, I think you'll love it here because the people here are called to be here and are called to do the kinds of things that God has for them to do. I'll also transition to not just our mission statement, but our vision statement, which is we want to become nationally recognized for integrating faith in learning, leading, and serving. What that means is every professor here, every staff member here, every coach, every person on the campus, and our students are called to be here so that they can learn how to integrate faith in everything that they do. Integrate faith in their learning. So in the classroom, the faith integration aspect of who we are and what we do is what we call our secret sauce. It's the thing that makes us different. It means that every professor is a professing believer. Every professor is a person who's not perfect, but who is on the same journey that all of us are on. And that is, how can we become more and more like Christ? How can we become the kind of person who lives for passion and meaning and purpose in our lives? Because we know that our life on our time on this planet is relatively short. How do we make sure that we make the best of that? And so that's why I greatly appreciate those of you who are considering Charleston Southern, because the fact is the most important decision a high school student and their parent or guardian makes, frankly, other than their agreement, their profession of Jesus Christ, is where are you going to spend those next 4 years, those first 4 years out of high school? Because that decision is crucial. That decision is essential. It's essential because for the first time in your life, you will be away from those boundaries, those guardrails, the things that have kept you on the path that you know you need to be on. And so coming to Charleston Southern means that we're not going to teach you what to think, but we're going to show you how to think. We're going to teach you how to filter everything through a biblical worldview. Every decision that you make, how do you filter that through a worldview that says God is sovereign, He's made us in His image, and He wants the best for us so that we can love Him and serve other people. You get to do that at Charleston Southern. You do it here because of the community, because of the professors, because of the facilities. All of that, though, is geared to make sure that you're living the life that God has designed for you. And we do that by what we call a passport to purpose. This passport to purpose, we just imagine the 4 years that you are here at Charleston Southern. Imagine these as 4 destinations on the path that you're traveling to prepare you for what's next. That first year that you're here, we refer to it as discovering your passion. Now, many of you, I would suspect that most of you have no idea yet what you want to major in. And believe it or not, that's normal. You are not alone. In fact, when I went to college, I went to the United States Air Force Academy, but I had no idea what I was going to major in when I showed up. And it wasn't until halfway through my second year in college that I was led to the major that I eventually chose. So if you are thinking about a major, that's great. There are plenty of people here who already know. But the large majority of people who come to university, not just here, but everywhere across the globe, practically speaking, have not yet decided. And so you're in good company if you've not decided what you want to major in. That's what we're for. And in that first year, you will go through a liberal arts core, which means you'll go through English and some literature, and you'll learn math and all sorts of other things. And our goal in doing this is to help you expand your horizons. Our goal in doing this is to make sure that you are being confronted with all kinds of challenges and issues that to help you think in a biblical way. And so as you discover your passion, as you discover your purpose in this, my screen just went blank, and so I'm going to take this time for a second. I'm going to see if I can get back in.
You're still showing up on our end.
Okay. I just can't see all of you, so I'm going to, okay, there we go again. Perfect. So in this first year, you're going to discover your passion, and we're going to help you do that. We're going to teach you skills that you're going to need in critical thinking and problem solving and how to write and how to communicate, all that stuff. We're going to teach you how to do that well, and we're going to do so in community. We're also going to, from the very beginning, talk to you about how your spiritual formation, how your growth in your faith is going to be a big contributor to who you are, not just as a person, as a servant, but also as a scholar. In the second year that you're here, we refer to this second year as determining your pathway. And so think about having discovered what your passion is. Think about this second year as deciding finally on a major. And whether you're going to be an educator or a minister or a nurse, or maybe you'll go into a physician assistant program down the road, whatever it may be, we're going to help you pick the major that's going to get you there. And that pathway that you determine will be an outgrowth of discovering your passion. And so then think about the junior year, your third year at Charleston Southern. Think of that as a place we're going to help you develop your. In the third year, you're now at a place where you're taking upper level courses. You're doing probably some research with a professor at some level. You're going to be now a leader in probably your small group. You're going to be a leader in your church. You're going to be a leader on the campus. And you're developing the potential that you're going to need to go. And in that first job out of college or in graduate school, where you're going to succeed. And think then of the last year. Of your time here, that last destination before you graduate and go on to other things. Think of that last year as you declaring your purpose. So in the 4 years that you're here, we help you connect. We help you go from passion to pathway to potential to purpose. And when you depart here in your senior year, whether you again go to graduate school or you go on to your first job in your career, you're going to understand who you are, who God is, and how you fit into that big picture. And we think about what that job is, what your purpose is going to be. We like to think of it in this way. We like to think of it as a combination, the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what you get paid to do, and what the world needs. And so that really is the pattern, the process that you'll get here at Charleston Southern. And again, you'll get to do that with people around you who are called to the same thing, fellow students and staff, but also faculty members who are guiding you through the process. Let me take just a second now to talk about some of the things that we're excited about at Charleston Southern. In the midst even of this coronavirus, and our faculty and staff are working remotely, our students are studying online, which for Charleston Southern is not a new thing. In fact, I don't know if you saw this, but a couple of months ago, U.S. News and World Report came out with a list of those universities and ranked universities in online education. And believe it or not, Charleston Southern University was ranked number 11 in the country for online bachelor's degree programs, and number 8 in the country for serving veterans in this way. And so when it came time for us to make the transition from in-class education to online education, for us it was a fairly easy thing to do, because for a long time we've considered online education as one way of many for students to get what they need in terms of preparation for their career and their lives. And so that's what's happening now. Lord willing, you'll be able to visit campus, before the semester begins. But if not, when move-in day comes, and we're all praying that this coronavirus comes to a quick end, but when move-in day comes and you're here in August, just imagine a chapel full of people. Our chapel seats 1,500 people. And on chapel days, we have 1,500 people packed into the chapel, and we have overflow sections of faculty and staff and others in which this chapel service is broadcast. But just imagine a bunch of people just like you who are praising God and hearing a message from the Word of God to help focus us on what matters most. So when we think about move-in day, we think about you coming to the campus. We think about you getting set up. And what you'll see when you come to campus is a brand new dorm. In fact, the dorm that we opened about a year ago now is the first dorm that was opened here in about 30 years. You'll see a brand new physical therapy building, because in 2 years from this May, our first class of physical therapy students, our second doctoral program, Doctor of Physical Therapy program, will start in May of 2022. You'll see a physician assistant building that was recently completed a couple years or so ago now, but we just graduated our first class. You'll see back behind our main academic building, you'll see a structure that is being built now for our new engineering program, which will also, as we expand, also include overflow for science. And so our engineering program will include mechanical engineering, computer engineering, and electrical engineering. You'll also see when you come to campus, we're about to start construction now on phase 1 of a student center. Phase 1 of a student center, we're dedicating, with a bookstore included, about 10,000 square feet dedicated just to students. And so if you've been to campus before and you come back, this will be a brand new thing, lots of space dedicated to students. You'll see a bookstore, which is being converted here in a couple of months or so from a traditional bookstore to a campus store. This campus store will be focused not so much on books, because we've just signed an agreement with an online bookstore in which when you show up on move-in day, your books will be delivered to your bedroom in the dorms. And if you happen to stay off campus, we'll make sure those books are delivered. Every book that you need for the semester, those books are delivered directly to your home address. Last thing I'll do before we can open this to questions, and I'm happy to address anything that's on your mind, is just how thankful and grateful I am that despite what's happening in the world, that you're maintaining your focus on a long-term view, because as we've said around here a good bit the last couple of weeks, this too shall pass. We will get to a place when things return to normal, whatever our new normal will be. But we'll get to a place where you can be on campus, we'll be together again, and it'll be a wonderful time, an opportunity for you to just live your life and prepare yourself for what God has for you next. And so I'll stop talking for now and just open it up to any questions that you may have. And so Brittany will allow you to kind of guide us through this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Costin. We appreciate your time this morning because we know that you're a very busy man. Guys, if you do have any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat box, and I will start asking Dr. Costin all of your questions. Yes, I'll actually answer this one. So it says, do you accept AP scores in place of specific classes? It's more of an admissions question, so I'll go ahead and answer that for you, Dr. Costin. We do accept AP scores in replacement of specific classes. So you can actually see all of those scores that you need on our website. If you go to charlestonsouthern.edu, there's a little menu at the top, and then underneath admissions, you'll see registrar's office. And there you will find all of the different transfer credits that we offer at CSU. We also have direct transferring classes from any South Carolina technical school. So you can see those classes and how they transfer in as well. It's usually a 3 or higher on the AP exam that we need to see to transfer that in as a college level course. Great question. Any other?
Let me answer in a preemptive way a question that I'm often asked, and that is, how much does it cost to go to Charleston Southern? And the answer is a whole lot less than you think. In fact, for most students, the cost to attend Charleston Southern is no more than it would cost to attend a state institution. We do this because we provide scholarships and grants, and others have provided scholarship, and the government provides scholarships and grants and aid in that way. And so what I'd ask you to do is, as you're thinking about where you're going to go, make sure you talk to your enrollment counselor, talk to financial aid. And many of you will be very, very surprised that you can come to a school like Charleston Southern with the small class sizes and the feeling like home that we have relative other than going to a large state school. And so how much does it cost? A whole lot less than you think.
Absolutely. We also will be hosting a CSU admissions Zoom session just like this one tomorrow at 11. And we will be answering some specific questions regarding financial aid and scholarship opportunities. So I'd love for you guys to tune into that session as well, and hear all about those scholarships that we are able to offer. They do range from $3,000 to $18,000. So you can get a good chunk of change if you were a strong academic student in high school. We do also have a transfer scholarship as well. Any other questions that you guys might have for Dr. Costin? Dr. Costin, would you like to speak about Charleston a little bit?
Yes, I'd love to speak about Charleston. As I say often, I'm so glad I get to come to work every day at Charleston Southern University and not Minneapolis Southern University, especially this time of year. Charleston, as many of you know, Charleston, for about the last 8 years or so, has been ranked by Condé Nast as the number one city in the country. And it's number one for all kinds of reasons. This is a big tourist town. It's a big foodie town. We're close to the beach, very, very close to the beach, as I mentioned earlier. And the other thing about Charleston that is really extraordinary, especially for those of you who are thinking about what are you going to do after you graduate from college, is that Charleston is one of the fastest growing municipalities in the country. And that's significant because there are lots of jobs here. In the last few years, Boeing has built a massive aircraft manufacturing plant here, for instance. Volvo has a manufacturing plant. There's a plant here to manufacture Mercedes-Benz vans. And as Charleston grows, opportunities for jobs grow. And what we find is that a lot of students come to Charleston and fall in love with Charleston. It's a phenomenal place. The culture is great. The hospitality is wonderful. And the weather is unbeatable. It's unbelievable. And so we're very excited to live in Charleston. And I'm not just saying that because I work at Charleston Southern. I'm saying that because Charleston is a phenomenal place to be. If you love shrimp and grits, this is your town.
Yes, Charleston is wonderful. I grew up in Rock Hill, South Carolina. So we only got to see the beach over the summer when we would take a vacation. And so living 30 minutes from the beach is a very nice perk. Absolutely. All right. So there's been no other questions put in the chat box. Again, if you do have one, we would love to answer those questions for you guys. Just as we close, Dr. Costin, did you have anything else that you would like to say?
I do. I'll just reiterate what I said before, and that is the decision that you're making now is the most important decision that you're going to make, because these 4 years, where you spend them is going to make a difference for the rest of your life. If you spend them in a place like Charleston Southern, where you have a close-knit community with professors who care about you and care about you because they get to see you and spend time with you often, and a campus that's focused on the gospel, focused on making sure that every student at least has an opportunity to understand what their passion is, develop their potential, and then depart from here with purpose. Last thing I'll say is let me close with our impact statement. Our impact statement is, at the end of the day, what do we do at Charleston Southern? And here's what we do. We prepare servant leaders to pursue significant lives. We do that every single day. Your generation, I'm speaking to those of you who are considering coming to Charleston Southern, your generation is a generation in search of meaning and purpose. The data tells us that over and over and over again. And my contention is that there's this lack of meaning and purpose because the society has departed from the things that matter most in life, and that is, what's our relationship to God? Who is He? Who has He made us to be? We've all been made in God's image to live for Him and to serve other people. And at Charleston Southern, you get to hear that and experience that every single day. So what do we do at the end of the day? We prepare servant leaders to pursue significant lives. And as you're thinking about choosing a university, I guarantee you this, you will find none better than what you'll find right here at Charleston Southern. So God bless y'all. Have a great time as you adjust yourselves to this new normal. And one day we'll get back to the place where we can all have some social undistancing once again. God bless y'all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Costin. Thank you again for joining us today, guys. We have a lot of sessions for this week coming up. So please visit the charlestonsouthern.edu/campus visit/virtual experience and join us for those upcoming sessions. So Brina, I did see that you asked where students attend church, and it looks like Kimberly answered that in the comments. We have a lot of great churches in the area. Summit Church does meet on our campus every Sunday morning at 11 when we're not social distancing. But there are tons of great churches in the area right down the road from CSU. We usually host a church and mission fair at the beginning of every semester, fall semester, and you can go around and meet different churches in the area and find out information about when they meet. A lot of them have young adult services that happen throughout the week. So lots of great opportunities for you to get engaged there.
I have a word about Summit Church, and this is mainly for moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas. Summit Church meets on our campus. It is a great church. It meets on our campus in our chapel, and it meets at 11 a.m., not 8 a.m. All right, and so it meets at 11 a.m., moms and dads, because we understand that there are some of your children perhaps may wake up at 10:52. If they wake up at 10:52, they can still brush their teeth and get to church by 11 o'clock. And so that's why we do it there. For those of you who may attend Summit, you may want to go someplace else. The churches around here are phenomenal. There are people who can pick you up if you don't have your own transportation. You'll meet friends along the way who have cars, and you'll find your home. You'll find your church home pretty quickly. And as Kimberly said and Brittany reiterated, that there are tons and tons of great churches per square mile in Charleston. That much I can guarantee you.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we've gotten all the questions answered. Thanks again for joining us today. We hope you'll join us for some future sessions, and let us know if you do have any questions. I'm always happy to answer questions. You can shoot me an email at bwatkins@csuniv.edu. All right, well, we're going to hop off. Thanks again for joining us, guys. Thank you, Dr. Costin.
Thank you.